Hey friends, welcome back to Money Breath Magic. I am here in Barcelona. I've been here for about a month, and today I'm going to talk to you about limiting beliefs. This podcast episode was inspired by a conversation that I had out with a new friend this weekend. We were chatting, we were getting to know each other, and she started telling me about some of her goals and her dreams and her aspirations in her life. But right after she told me about this, she then proceeded to tell me about all of the reasons why she didn't think it would happen or think that it wasn't possible. And I looked at her and I said, Girl, you know, these are just limiting beliefs, right? And so that brought us into a deep dive conversation about beliefs. And she said, Okay, I recognize that these are limiting beliefs, but now what do I do about this? And that had me really thinking that there's so many people out there that A, don't even know that they have these beliefs that are shaping their reality, especially ones that are limiting. And then B, like, even if you do know that maybe you're not carrying the most empowering beliefs in life, you don't know how to actually shift them. So I thought it'd be really useful to have a conversation just to deep dive into what is a belief, how is it limiting me, how the nervous system plays into all of this, and then the steps that I actually use in my own life whenever I recognize that I'm carrying a belief that's not serving me and what I actually do to shift it. So, hi, if you're new here, my name's Sue Ellen. I'm a CPA, I'm a money coach. I help business owners transform their relationship with money, and belief work is a core piece of that. Our beliefs around money are shaping our financial reality. It is shaping how much money we're able to create in our life, make in our life, how much money we actually hold, how much money we allow ourselves to spend on ourselves, invest in ourselves. Like our perception of money, our beliefs around money are directly impacting how much money we're able to generate and how much wealth we're able to build in our lives. So, this conversation is going to be so important as it relates to money manifestation, but it's going to apply to every single area of your life, whether that's your health, your relationships, your friendships, your career, your business, like everything. Any belief that you have about anything in life can be shifted. So, if you're ready to dive in, transform your beliefs, and transform your reality, this conversation is for you. So, I think we should just start. What is a belief? Like, I think on the surface, we all know what a belief is, but like, what is it? A belief is our predominant thoughts and feelings about something that we have in our subconscious mind of what we are saying is our objective truth. And I say objective truth because it's our version of the truth. I could believe something about a particular subject that is completely different than someone else believes about that particular subject, but both hold their own beliefs about that thing being true. So, whatever we have in our subconscious mind as a belief is objective truth. It isn't the truth with a capital T. And I think people can get hung up on this sometimes because our egos like to get in the way. And we like to think that everything that we believe is true with a capital T. And a lot of times people don't have the willingness to open up and see what other people might believe about a particular subject or topic because we want to hold on. We don't want to believe that we're wrong. Nobody wants to believe that what we think about our life and what we believe to be true is wrong. And so I think this can hold people back sometimes. When I really got into this work a few years ago, one of the things that I really told myself that I was going to allow myself to do is just kind of like let everything that I believe kind of melt away and be open to different beliefs, different things shifting in my belief system. That perhaps maybe everything that I believe isn't true with a capital T. And I think having this open-mindedness about life and approaching different things in life and career and business and what we believe to be true about our reality, when we can approach that with an open mind and be open and willing to see different ideas or different ways of being, this is how you can transform your life. Because when you just put your feet in the sand that I believe what I believe and don't actually question your beliefs, that is going to keep you stuck in the current reality that you have. Because The beliefs that we hold about ourselves, about our identity, about the world, about our environment, that is literally what we are going to experience in our reality. So when we say limiting belief, what I mean by that is if you have goals, dreams, there's something that you want to manifest or create in your life. If you have a belief that is telling you that thing that you want is not possible, that is limiting, because it is limiting you from believing that that thing is actually possible. So if you have a dream of manifesting $1 million through your business or through your career or through your life, it doesn't matter how, but you want to become a millionaire. And when you say that out loud, and all of these reasons start popping into your head about why that could never happen or could never be true for you, those are limiting beliefs. Our beliefs are what shape our perception of the world. So what we believe to be true about the world is the way that we see the world. So if we are holding on to these limiting beliefs, telling ourselves that it is just not possible that I will ever make $1 million for all of these reasons, or we're telling ourselves that, oh, all millionaires are bad people. If we hold that belief, we will never become a millionaire, because why would we ever want to be a bad person or see ourselves as a bad person? So the beliefs that we hold are shaping our perception of reality. Our beliefs dictate how we feel on a daily basis. Our beliefs are shaping the decisions that we make, the actions that we are taking in life. They're impacting our mental health, how we feel inside every single day. And they are quite literally what are creating our reality. And our beliefs can come from different places. So obviously, as we're raised, either by our parents or different caregivers, perhaps our teachers are influencing us, or maybe other leaders or church pastors. The way that we're raised as children, we develop beliefs about life based on the people that are raising us and the people that are surrounding us and the people that are guiding us. I know for me, I was raised in a Southern Baptist church, and I developed a lot of beliefs that I considered to be limiting through that experience in the church. And I have seen these beliefs come forth in my business. Even today, 40 years later, I have seen where beliefs that I was infiltrated with growing up in the church have limited me in my business 40 years later. So we can get beliefs from our upbringing, but then also experiences in our life. Maybe we've had experiences in life that were triggering to us, that were activating to our nervous system. Maybe something traumatic happened in our life. Maybe something happened in a relationship. Somebody cheated on you. You're constantly manifesting men that treat you poorly. Maybe you're constantly getting into friendships where they don't actually value you or your friendship. Maybe something happened at work where you've been laid off multiple times. Like, things happen in life, in our experience, and we develop beliefs about that's just the way things are. All men are bad. All men are cheaters. I'm not good enough, or I'm unworthy and that's why I got fired. We develop these core beliefs about the things that we experience in life. And then if we think about like the deeper, more broad belief systems that are out there, I mean, things in various different cultures and society shape how we have belief systems about life as well. And so a belief can be picked up subconsciously through no doing of our own. It's just the way we were raised. It's the culture we're in. It was the society that we are in. But we need to learn to actually challenge these. Like, is this belief true for me? Is this belief true for the life that I want to create? Is it serving me or is it not? And so we all have, to take this like a step further, we all have what's called a reticular activating system, or RAS for short. And what this is, it's the part of our brain that's acting as a filtration system. And it's basically validating what we believe to be true. And so our subconscious mind doesn't want to think that we're lying to it. It doesn't want to think that we're lying to ourselves. So whatever beliefs we have in our subconscious takes it as truth. It believes that every single belief that we have is true. And so the part of our brain, the reticular activating system, what it does is it's constantly seeking for evidence in our reality to validate the beliefs that we have about life. And what's crazy is like, okay, so have you ever wanted to buy a particular car? I know back in the day, I wanted to buy like a white BMW. Gosh, I haven't had a car in so long. I think it was like a 320i, or I forget the names of it. Doesn't matter. I wanted to buy this BMW. And so when that was on my vision, the minute that you want to buy that car and that you have that in your vision of like, I think I'm going to get that car. Have you ever noticed that you start seeing it all over the place? You start seeing like more white BMWs popping up all over the place. It's because our reticular activating system has identified that that white BMW is important to me. And so it starts filtering and we start noticing that white BMW even more. We are getting billions of information sent to us at every single second of every single day. Like in my peripheral vision right now, in my hearing, like my peripherals, I know that I can tell that there's construction going on at the Sagrada Familia right now. I can hear there's an AC running up here. You know, this window is open. Like I, in my peripherals, know that these things are happening, but my RAS, none of that is important. So it's filtering out the humming of the AC, not important. But if I hear someone in the room say Sue Ellen, that name is important to me. It'll pick up on that. So you could be like in a busy room of people and there's so much going on, so much chaos. You're not going to hear like the ticking clock. But if somebody across the room calls out your name, your reticular activating system is going to pick it up. That's important. I'm listening. The RAS is picking up what we deem to be important. And it works with our beliefs and our goals in the exact same way. So if we believe that we are a successful person, that we succeed, that we attract opportunities, even if we don't know how, your RAS is going to constantly notice more opportunities. In the opposite side, if we are living in this belief system where we say, nothing ever works out for me, I never find any opportunities, nobody ever wants to work with me, our RAS is going to find more evidence to validate that that belief is true. So you will constantly find more reasons that people don't want to work with you. You'll constantly find missed opportunities. Oh, I missed out on that again. Nobody wants to hire me. Our RAS is going to constantly find information to validate the beliefs that we believe to be true. And this is how people get stuck in a victim mindset. This is how people get stuck in the feedback loop of nothing ever works out for me. It's those people where they live in victimhood. Like, yeah, maybe something bad happened in life. But when we live in this victim mindset of nothing ever works out for me, everything is always a problem, there's always something going wrong, it's you constantly are going to find more reasons that things aren't working out, things are wrong, things are bad. And it's this loop because your RAS is constantly finding evidence to validate that things are not going well for you. And so if we take this to money, if you have the belief that our universe is abundant, that there's abundance everywhere, that there's opportunities everywhere, that money is constantly flowing to you somehow, you are constantly going to see opportunities. You're going to constantly see abundance, even if it's not monetarily. Even if you just hold the energy that this universe is abundant, you are going to start seeing abundance in everything. You're going to start seeing it with the sky. The endless sky is blue, with the ocean, the water, nature. That you open up. This is my favorite. The other day I opened up like a pack of Starburst and it had all of my favorite colors in it. I felt so abundant. I got no yellows, you know? Like you are going to start seeing pieces of abundance in your life because you carry that mindset of abundance. On the opposite side, say you hold the belief that making money is hard, that it is so hard to make money, that there's no money around, like money is limited, only rich people are able to make money. You are constantly going to see reasons why making money is hard. You're constantly going to see why you have to struggle, why opportunities are not there for you, why only rich people can make money. It's a feedback loop. So our belief systems, we want to transform our beliefs So our RAS starts picking up on the evidence to validate those empowering beliefs. And so if we question, like, okay, sometimes we know that maybe this isn't like the best beliefs to be holding on to. I mean, sometimes we aren't like aware enough to even recognize that it is a belief that we have about something, but sometimes we know. Like when it comes to money, sometimes we know, like, okay, I recognize that I have a poor relationship with money and I'm holding on to these beliefs, but like, why do we hold on to them then? It's because we are getting some form of safety by holding on to that belief, because it is something that has been playing over and over and over again, like a broken record player in our brain, over and over and over again. We get the evidence in the external reality that's validating this belief for ourselves. And it's this constant, that feedback loop that I talked about. And so for us, it creates a form of safety because in our nervous system, we feel safe when we are experiencing what's familiar. When we experience something that is different than the familiar, different than the experience that we are used to, that is unsafe to the nervous system. So it's a protection mechanism. Our nervous system wants to keep the beliefs that we hold about life that feel familiar. We want to hold on to those because it feels safe to our body. It feels safe to be in the familiar. And then we can also actually be benefiting something from holding on to these beliefs. It's kind of crazy to think about. Like, even if we have a limiting belief about something that we want to manifest or something we want to create in our life, we are gaining a benefit by holding on to every single belief that we have. And the benefit is that it is keeping us from experiencing some sort of discomfort by shifting the belief. So say we have some sort of belief around putting ourselves out online, that people are always going to judge me. Say you want to start a business, but you're scared to like start making the post online because you have a belief that people are judgmental and people are going to judge me. So you are carrying that belief because it is keeping you from putting yourself out there, from potentially experience the pain of judgment, of putting yourself out there and being seen and feeling unworthy, feeling unlikable, feeling unlovable, feeling like nobody cares, people are judging you. So holding on to this belief, you're getting a benefit because you are holding yourself back from potentially experiencing those feelings that you don't want to feel. All right, so where do we start? We have goals, we have dreams, we have desires, we have things that we want to manifest in our lives that haven't come to fruition yet. What we want to do is we want to take an honest look at our current reality and think, what would a person who is experiencing my current reality think about life? What would their beliefs be about life? So break down all the areas of your life, your career, your business, love, if you're dating, your marriage, your other relationships, friendships in your life, the people that you're attracting into your life, your health. Like break down every single area of your life and be very honest with yourself. This is my current reality. If my beliefs are what create my current reality, what must I believe for this to be true for me? Because our reality is always matching up with our subconscious beliefs. Even if they're beliefs that we're not aware of, that they're sitting beneath the surface, our reality is always going to match up with them. And we can notice these beliefs by our daily interactions that we're having with people, by the things that we say that just come out automatically and think, oh shit, I didn't even realize that right there is a belief. We can notice them in the ways that we feel whenever we're interacting in different situations. Whenever we have interactions with relationships or going on a date or when we show up to a business call or a sales pitch, how we're feeling, the sensations that we have in our body and our nervous system, that's indicating a belief that we have. It's in the things that are triggering us, that are activating us. If you find yourself getting triggered by something, that is because you have some sort of belief that triggered that for you. If you're getting activated about something, again, if you're like showing up for some sort of like pitch or workshop or something within your business and you're getting really activated by it, stop and think about why. There's probably some sort of belief that you have beneath the surface. And so our job is to like start noticing these things. start noticing what comes up for us, like what beliefs are there. Because once awareness is the first step, once we actually have awareness of the belief, then we can actually start to shift it. But when it's sitting beneath the surface, we have no idea that it's there, it's just playing out subconsciously. We can't actually shift it until we know that it's there. Start noticing the patterns that are in your life. If something is happening over and over and over again in your life, there is a belief beneath the surface that is creating that reality for you. So if you're constantly dating the same guy, but it's just a different person, but they're the same type of guy who's like emotionally unavailable, won't commit to you, a cheater, there's some belief system beneath the surface that is attracting that type of man into your life. If you're constantly overspending your money, all the money comes in and you subconsciously just automatically spend it and you're back to baseline, there's some sort of belief beneath the surface that is creating that to happen. If you're constantly stuck in the same job or the same clients, there's some sort of belief that is attracting that reality into your life. So look at the patterns. Is there something happening over and over and over and over again that you can't figure out why this seems to be like you can't break free from this pattern? There's a belief beneath the surface that needs to be shifted. All right, so to start, to like try to figure out like what your beliefs are, there's a couple of things that you can do. I would take out a piece of paper and I would write down the things that you want to manifest, your goals, your dreams that you have, whatever you want to create in your life. Write those out on a piece of paper and then ask yourself, why don't I think this is possible? Write all of the reasons why you don't think that that goal, that dream, that manifestation can come true, because those are going to lead you to the beliefs. Fill in the blank. This isn't possible for me because I am not worthy of this thing, because I don't feel good enough for this thing, because this is never going to happen for me, because this hasn't worked out for me in the past, so it's not going to work out for me now, because I'm afraid of this, because et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Everything because that is a belief that you have that is limiting you from achieving and manifesting that goal. And then once we're really clear on the beliefs, then we want to start digging through each one of them and shifting them. So sometimes just by becoming aware of a belief is enough to shift it, because you can say, oh, I realize that's there, but like I'm done with that. I'm shifting it. Here's what I believe now, and we move on. But sometimes we have something like deeper beneath the surface that's going to take some more work. So if it's a belief that you feel like you need to like dig deeper on, here's what you're going to do. First, you're going to take that belief and you're going to analyze it and say, okay, what am I benefiting from actually believing this thing? And it might be that it's keeping you from feeling unworthy. Maybe you have the fears of being seen and being judged. So it's keeping you from having to put yourself out there and be judged, feel unlovable, to feel unattractive, to be rejected, to feel abandoned. There's some sort of feeling that you are protecting yourself from. And so therefore you are getting a benefit out of believing that belief. So you want to list out, what am I actually benefiting from this? And then you want to take on the same piece of paper and write out all the consequences that you are going to experience in your life from believing this belief. And so the consequences are, what are you never going to experience if you continue to believe this belief? So maybe it's you're going to be 80 years old and you're going to look back on yourself and you're going to have massive regret that you never chased your dreams. Maybe it's you're never going to be able to be financially free because you constantly feel like rich people are bad. Maybe you're never going to be able to chase your dreams and have the life of freedom that you want. For so long, when I was in my corporate job, I held so many limiting beliefs about what could actually be possible for me, because I never saw that anything else was possible as being an accountant who worked a corporate job. I only saw myself ever being able to be in this corporate office. I never saw myself being able to make the same amount of money, an amazing living, by not being an executive riding the corporate ladder in a big company. I had to knock down those beliefs and say, okay, what are the consequences of me continuing to believe this? For me to continue to believe that I can't be successful, I can't have massive amounts of wealth unless I'm in this corporate job. The consequences are I'm never going to have the life of freedom that I want. I'm constantly going to be stuck doing work that I hate, that doesn't fulfill me. I'm never going to be able to become a digital nomad and travel the world and come live in Spain and Bali and Egypt. I'm never going to be able to live that life. And for me, when I looked at being 80 years old and looking back on my life and saying, wow, I wish I didn't play it so safe. I wish I actually chased my dreams. I have so much regret that I worked 50 hours a week at this company and retired at 65, and I never got the chance to go live my life when I was young. That pain of knowing that that's where I was going to be was so great that I said, fuck it. Like, I am going for it. So we want the list of consequences that we are listing for these beliefs to be so deep, so painful, so just like I have no choice but to shift this belief, but to change this for myself, because I can't picture myself going on with my life continuing to carry this belief, because the pain of living these consequences is so much greater than the pain that I might experience by trying to shift this belief. Maybe putting myself out there on social media is uncomfortable. Maybe having to pitch myself to clients is uncomfortable. Maybe having to walk away from a multi-six-figure job and starting from the ground up is uncomfortable. But the pain of knowing that being 80 years old and never doing with my life what I wanted to do is so much greater than the pain I might experience, then you actually go make a change. And so after we've listed out all the benefits, all the consequences, again, we want the consequences to be deep. We want it to be the biggest list that you have. Then you want to go and start finding reasons why in your life that this belief that you have is not true. So for me, I thought that I couldn't build success without being in the corporate job, right? And so for me, I had to look back on my past and find instances of that not being true. And so I looked to former jobs where I was successful. I wasn't an executive out of a company, but I've always been successful. I've always been promoted. I've always been highly valued at the places that I work at. I'm like, okay, like I'm a successful person. I went and found other instances just in sports where I was very successful, and other ways that I was making money on like side hustles. I was successful. And so I was like reshaping for myself, like, okay, I'm a successful person. Like, I know that I am ambitious and motivated and driven, and I have proven that I am successful in many areas of my life. Why wouldn't I be successful starting my own business? And so look back to your past, see if you can find examples of where this belief is not actually true. And if you can't find examples in your own life, go try to find a friend or a family member, someone on social media, a mentor, someone that you can look at and see, well, it's not true for them in their own life. Like, they've done what I want to do. So if they can do what I want to do, I can do what I want to do. If this belief isn't true for them, it doesn't have to be true for me. Because if we go back to the beginning of this video where I said a belief is an objective truth, it's not a truth with a capital T, meaning it's objective because I believe it. It doesn't mean it's true for everybody in this universe. And so if it's not an objective truth, a truth with a capital T, that means I can shift it. And so go find, they're called expanders. Like, the people that are expanders in our life are the people who have already done the things that we want to do. And if they have done it, so can you. And so once we've written out the benefits, the consequences, we've gone and we've tried to knock down the belief and find instances from our past or from people that we know, these expanders, then we want to redefine what the new belief is. So sticking with this belief that I had that I couldn't be successful outside of the corporate office, I created a new belief to say, no, I can create success on my terms. I can create success in anything that I do. And so I was starting a bookkeeping business. And so I rewired for myself that, yes, I can be successful. I can create a successful bookkeeping business. And that's what I did. And so we want to redefine that new belief for ourselves. And then we want to go find evidence in our life that that new belief is true. And so as I started creating a bookkeeping business, I kept finding reasons why it was working so I could validate this new belief. I started posting on social media, and anytime I was getting traction or I was getting people replying to my social posts, I was like, well, that's an instance to prove that this belief is true. I'm getting people to engage, like it is happening. This belief is true. And then I would start getting client inquiries. I started booking my first clients, and I was like, okay, here's more evidence. It's true. It's happening. It's happening. So as we have this new belief, we want to look to our life to constantly be seeking evidence that this new belief is true. And then we want to be showing up as the version of ourselves that actually believes this belief to be true. So what type of person, how would I show up? What is the identity of the person, in my case, who has a successful bookkeeping business that creates massive amounts of wealth for her? She's posting online, she's showing up, doing sales calls with clients, she has her website, she's putting herself out there, she's teaching, she's coming from a heart-centered place, she's out there helping people, she's putting her name in the pot, she's showing up to workshops and teaching people. Like, how would that version of myself show up? And that's what I did. And what happens is the more that we show up as the version of ourselves who believes this new belief, we are gaining evidence that that belief is true. And it creates this loop, very much like we talked about earlier, is that we believe that we are a successful person in this instance. We believe this new belief. Our RAS is going and finding evidence to prove, to validate that what we believe is actually true. And then it anchors it in. And the more that we show up as this version of ourselves, the more we get evidence, the more that we're taking action as this version of ourselves, the more we get evidence. And it continues to build that this belief, it doesn't have to be this conscious process where we're like, okay, I'm looking for evidence. I'm making sure that I'm calling out that this belief is true. It just becomes subconscious within our body. It's just a subconscious belief that we believe, and we don't have to think about it anymore. It's just part of who we are. And the last thing I wanted to touch on this was, obviously, as we are transforming, we're shifting our identity, we're shifting some of these deep beliefs that maybe we've been holding on for years. Like, these are things that like are at our core. But if they're not serving us and we want to shift them, obviously it's not going to be easy as just like writing it down on a piece of paper and poof, the belief is gone and our whole identity, our whole reality changes. There's going to be resistance coming up. It's literally part of the process of transforming your life. And so what we want to do is we want to have some tools on deck that help us shift as we are working through these like resistance and the feelings and the triggers that come up as we're working through shifting a belief. So as you are trying to transform and you feel resistance, our nervous system is going to want to bring us back to our baseline. So whenever, if you recall what we talked about earlier, your nervous system just wants to keep you safe. And what feels safe to the nervous system is what is familiar. So as we go to shift a belief, we go to start stepping into a new identity, our nervous system is going to say, oh, radar, this is unsafe. This is unfamiliar. We need to go back to what I know to be true, this belief that I know to be true, even if it's not serving us, because the nervous system doesn't care whether it's a belief that's serving us or not serving us. It's just familiar. So if you've been holding on to this belief for years and years and years, the nervous system feels safe. It feels cozy there because that feels familiar. It's not anything new, not anything out of the norm. So as we start shifting this belief, we want to do tools like, obviously, my favorite, breath work. I love breath work. Helps us bring us back to a parasympathetic state. We can use breath work for so much. I love breath work, but if breath work's not your jam, there's other tools like tapping, the shaking, dancing, going for a walk, put your phone down and go for a walk, get in the sunshine, or just go sit in the sunshine for a little bit. Get some like vitamin D on you, go put your feet in grass, do something that can bring you back to the present moment, can bring you back, signal to your body that we are safe. Yes, we are doing something that is out of the norm, but it is not going to kill us. We are not in any sort of danger. Putting myself online, starting my business, that I am not in danger. I am safe. We need to bring safety back to the body as we continue to shift and transform these beliefs. Because if we don't, it is going to be impossible to shift some of this stuff. Like these core deep beliefs, maybe you'll be able to shift them for a little bit. Maybe you'll be able to push through and show up as that new version of yourself for a little bit. But eventually, you're going to bring yourself back down to your baseline, back down to what feels familiar. So we need to regulate our nervous system on the way up as we're shifting these beliefs. All right, so let's do a quick recap. We talked about what a belief is, why it might be limiting, what your reticular activating system is doing to validate these beliefs, why it's important to shift these beliefs. If we don't shift these beliefs, your reality will not change because your beliefs are what are shaping your reality. So it's important. If you want to change your life, if you want to grow your life, you want to expand your life, you want to bring in these manifestations that you so deeply desire, we need to shift our beliefs around them. And then I gave you some tools and processes to actually start shifting these beliefs. So first, we need to identify what the beliefs are, list out what you want to manifest, what you want to create in your life, and then list out all the reasons why you believe it's not possible. Then you're going to list out the benefits that you're getting from believing that belief, but then you're going to make a huge, deeply painful list of consequences of what is going to happen if you don't shift that belief. Then you're going to find evidence in your life of why that belief is not true. Find all of the reasons from your past, from people that you know, friends, family. If you can't find anything there, go find people on social media. Find reasons why we want to take the charge off that belief of why that belief is not true. Because if that belief is not true for somebody else, they can be an expander for you. It does not have to be true for you. It is not truth with a capital T. So after we do that, we're going to redefine what the new belief is for ourselves. What do we want to replace? What is the new empowering belief that we want to put in place of this old belief? And then we're going to go find evidence in our life of how that new belief is actually true for us. We're going to start showing up as the version of ourselves that actually believes that new belief to be true. How do they think? How do they speak? How do they carry themselves? What are they doing on every single day in their life? How are they showing up for themselves, for others? How worthy do they feel? Like, what are the feelings that that version of myself who believes this, how are they showing up every single day? And the more that we show up as that version of ourselves, the more we find evidence to validate that new belief. And that's how it becomes just a subconscious knowing in our body. But as we're doing that, there's going to be triggers, there's going to be activation, there's going to be discomfort, there's going to be feelings of unworthiness that are going to come up in our life. That's when we're going to have the tools, our favorite tools, to regulate our nervous system as we are shifting, as we are expanding, as we are growing. We're going to bring down the charge, bring our nervous system down, tell the nervous system, tell the body it is safe. It is safe for us to expand. It is safe for us to create this manifestation in our life. It is safe for us to transform. That is how you shift limiting beliefs. That is how you transform your life. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this serves somebody out there. I know this process for me, whenever I am trying to expand, whenever, moving across the world multiple times, quitting my job, leaving a relationship, I have gone through this process over and over and over again, and it has truly helped me transform my life. If you found something helpful, useful, if you found this powerful conversation, I'd love to hear your feedback. Drop a comment below. And I can't wait to chat with you on the next episode. And I hope everybody has a great week ahead. Chat with you all later.